Good day everyone, thank you for coming to the channel. Today I would like to showcase my Burizado Canyon Ballista Bowazon. So this is for one of my subscribers named B-Low. He was commenting on my other video for my Faith Amazon. And he talked about Giant Skull and I'm like, oh well, you know, I'm actually using this build. So I wanted to kind of share this and, you know, go over this build. Let me show you my talents, my gears, and the whole shebang. First, my weapon, Burizado Canyon. So as many of the old school people may remember, this was a big weapon back in the old days. Everybody used this. And also, every Fury Druid used this. And I don't know, back in the old days, there was no such thing as Elemental Druid, or I just never knew one. I only played Fury. Fury. That was the only thing to play for Druid. And this is 1-up. And I socketed a 40 enhanced damage and a 15% requirement jewel, because if not, I'll be sitting at like 160 something strength. And it's not like perfect in defense, but this was the weapon of my selection. And you know, for Fury Druids, as many of you know, the weapon speed is only the weapon speed only really affects. Well, you know, I kind of wrote about how, you know, when you're at like 15 frames, then like outside speed can influence your speed to make it like 14. But I mean, that's so slow. That 15 frame per attack is like such a slow level, so it's almost minuscule. Yes, for Fury Druid attack speed, it's mainly from the damage, I mean the weapon. So that's why the 80 on here is really godly for that. And then for my armor, I'm using a Dusk Fort, and this is a perfect one. And for my helm, I'm using this Giant Skull with 240 enhanced damage and 9 strength jewel. And I kind of regret it. Maybe I should have put in a dex jewel or something, but like, yeah, I'm kind of here right now. And for my Ami, I'm using Atma. And I think, you know, the Amp, you know, huge helper, attack rating, and then poison damage, big one. And then poison resist, I mean 75, right? That's a lot to get. And for my boot, I'm using a traveler's boot, but you could get like a tri-resistance boot, because you know, at my stage, my poison is pretty much maxed out, right? So maybe you can get something like, you know, high on lightning, you know, to kind of compensate for that, because lightning is actually a pretty important one to actually pay attention to. But yeah, for now I'm using a war traveler here. And I'm using Nas Coil, not for the increased attack speed, because there really wasn't anything else. Like, there's no build for this, you know, Burizado Canyon really, that I could find. So, I figured, you know, the 15 strength was a big help, at least to, you know, mitigate having to put points in there for me. So that's why I chose this. Then Raven, dual E-Ring with all red. I wish that 30 was lightning, but oh well. And I'm using laying on hands mainly because of the resist, and I guess, you know, the damage the demons help after. But I mean, besides laying on hands, I just couldn't think of anything else to use. But I don't need the increased attack speed, because my increased attack speed is already finished with this and my my mercenary. And my off, I'm using a CTA 6.6 and then a bow spirit. And as you see, I have my stats out here already, and I'm sitting at 159, and that's what I mentioned earlier. Like, kind of regret doing this now. Like, maybe I should have had like 9 dex jewels instead of the strength, because I feel like, you know, I'm like 3 over, and that 3 over feels like a waste. So I might re-jewel, but I have no foreign gold in BTJSP, so I can't. And then I put rest into dex. And you know, my lightning resist is low. That's why this 50 off of here is so huge, you know. That's a huge helper for me. Oh, and you know, my charms, I'm using a large, like max attack rating lifers, and you can go with small ones or, you know, grand charms and then a small one. It's up to you, like whatever you can spare, you know, for damage orientation. Even poison damage too, why not, right? And actually I do have one 451, and this was found by my bot, and I was gonna try to sell it, but I couldn't on D2GSP, so I just ended up using it. I mean, right now it's going for like 350 to 400, I believe, but oh well. I'm just gonna use it. And then here's my enemy and my torch. So yeah, stats we went over. My talents. So like, yeah, well anyway, so strafe, I maxed it out. That'll be one of my main attacks. And guided arrow, it doesn't act like before, but still, you know, I wanted to kind of bring back the old memories, kind of go retro, right? Nostalgia. So I maxed out guided arrow, and then I put enough where I bow, I'll get, you know, level 15 on the multi-shot. And here, of course, nothing here because the weapon does 100% piercing. And I maxed this out, and I put enough so that when I bow, I'll be sitting at 65%. And anything more, I mean, there's a diminishing return, so people argue that it's kind of waste. And then I put rest into here, and then I will do so as I level. And for my mercenary, can't get anything else. Gotta get a faith, you know, mercenary. And it's all because of fanaticism. I don't really care for anything personally. Only thing I care is the 15 fanaticism. So all skill, does the weapon base have all that? I don't care. So, you know, yeah, I go with this. And then here's my armor, Enigma. And you know, the main reason is just a faster run walk. And there are other selections that you can put on, but I don't think there's any one that clearly stands out and says, oh my god, this is the winner. So, you know, you can go with Ethereal Shaft, or like maybe COH, Chain of Honors. I mean, there are different ways you can go, but this is the way I went, based on the Korean YouTuber that I usually follow. And here's my Endario's Visage. It's socketed with the increased attack speed and a fire red skill. And the main thing is it's 1030. 10 like stoner, 30 strength. So that's the whole build, that's the whole shebang. I have a cow here, so let me go ahead and run a cow. And then Diablo, okay, as always. So actually, I'm kind of stupid with this. Like, well, the stupid part is my increased attack speed. Oh, you know, maybe I should do the calculator beforehand too. So, yeah, let's check it out on the calculator. You know, let me go ahead and get more farm points. Hello. Oh my god. Okay. Go here. Yeah, so Amazon, Colossus, crossbow, and I have 80. Okay, and now I have 15 fanaticism. Okay, so it looks like I'm done. 11 frames, yeah, that's the fastest on a crossbow. And that's on a standard. On strafing 2, I'm maxed out. So that's why I didn't care for any of the speed. But the stupid part is that, like, I should have, like, done my homework too. Like, not always just copy and paste. And, you know, the reason why is because the original guy who had this build, like, he was arguing that you need a 70 speed from the, ooh, yeah, that was a amp proc. Well, you need like a 70 increase attack speed on the outside. So not weapon slot, that's what it means on the outside. And I had done so, and like, I've been playing like that for a long time. And then, like, I was trying to make this video, and for the first time, I actually ran the calculator. And I'm like, wait a minute, like, why am I over speed? Like, why am I, because, like, calculator says, like, just based on the weapon, I was done, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, but, like, I have all this speed, like, my bone visage, my giant skull, he actually had 2 damage jewels and attack speed jewels in it. And, like, this I was using, like, you know, high load or, like, you know, cat's eye. And I'm kind of like, wait a minute, like, when I run the calculator, it says I don't need this outside speed. But I rechecked out the guy's video, and he's like, yeah, no, he's talking about how you need 70 on the outside. And like, I kind of tested it too. Like, I started like unequipping myself. I was like, is that really? And then I was like, oh my god, like I'm stupid. Like, you know, I can copy and paste, but still, like I should check this validity too. It looks like, yeah, the guy was wrong. Like, yeah, the weapon speed seems to have been, you know, addressed with, you know, fanaticism, faith, and you know, just the 80 speed from the weapon. For me, you know, being a dumbass, like I didn't check. Plagiarism, yeah. well, I guess this is plagiarism too in a way. But you know, I do talk about it in my giving credit, so. But yeah, that was pretty stupid of me. So I had to kind of like change my spec right now. Like the Atma Scarab Banner is like one of those enemies that you never look for. It's kind of trash. Like you can find it easily, kind of like if no one saves them. So yeah, I need another one. I had to change my setting on my bot to go ahead and pick it up. Oh my god! And then ooh, Matriarch or spot a pipe. Ooh, it's ethereal. I don't know. Yeah, on the last video, actually, one drop too. It had 3 skill, ethereal, no socket. And that could have been a good base, but I just didn't keep it because I already have one. And so, anyways, yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. I thought, oh man, I should have like done my homework on those. So, yeah, I had to spend some foreign gold on other ways. It was what little what I don't have. So I'm pretty damn broke now. It's okay. Hopefully I won't need anything else anymore. And yeah, I had to re-get the jewels because my jewels were off, right? I don't need to increase attack speed. So I'm thinking, okay, there is no real build for this. Understanding what I understand, like what do I need? You know, what would I need? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get like 40 enhanced damage and you know, like 9 strength. I didn't even think about that. And I got it, and I was socketing it, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm over my strength now. So, like, had I gotten Dex instead, yes, I would have had to put points in here, but I don't know, at least I'll feel like, you know, the 3 extra strength that I had would not have been wasted. 3 strength, is that a big thing? I guess it's not, but it's just kind of annoying, you know, because I know I messed up again. I messed up by plagiarizing and not checking on it and being playing like that all this time. And then I tried to fix that, and still I fucked up and got wrong jewels. So yeah, it's fail all around on my part. But I guess, you know, I won't kill myself, I won't die, so it's good enough. I'll just live with it. But yeah, as you see on the game, the play style, I guess for me the giant skull was mainly because of the knockback. That's like the main thing I was looking for. Because I mean, I could try to get that off of the glove, just the other stuff that you can get, right? But I mean, you know, knockback gloves are usually going to be costly. And if you're talking about knockback with like, you know, increased attack speed and like passive skills with strength, dex, and resist, oh yeah, now you're talking really expensive pair. So, you know, maybe with this, you know, because I don't need like all that craziness. I mean, maybe if I look for like knockback and 2 passive with like strength and dex and resist, then I think it might actually be really cheap because missing the increased attack speed, no one will probably want that. But you know, for me, like, yeah, that makes sense. But would I get my Atma card, so that was cool. But I was, you know, even without that, I do have a way to deal with it, right? Because I have a magic arrow. This one, that would be my, you know, immune to physicals. So yeah, like, you know, I should have done my homework beforehand to kind of double check the data, but I had to waste some money, and you know, here I am now. So I guess if I knew about that properly, I might have approached the whole itemization maybe differently. Because, you know, I wanted the knockback, but I didn't want to waste it on the glove. And at the time, I thought I needed like 20 attack speed and skill and knockback glove, which would definitely cost me some money. But now they've all changed. Now that I understand that I only need 15 fanaticism and, you know, 80 speed, weapon and like weapon speed and outside speed combined, I mean, that just changes the whole gameplay, right? So, you know, like I mentioned, oh, by the way, Tao's done, I think, you know, that was pretty fast. I think each like, you know, arrow, there's so much bump, right? Look at my damage. Multi-shot goes up to 6, my guided is up to 9, but yeah, just, you know, every punch is so heavy that, you know, I think that's the reason why I use it faster, right? That's why it's slower, but it hits harder. And so yeah, that was that. Let me go on. So had I known that, you know, I didn't need all this speed, that just 15 fanaticism and 80 speed combined would have just solved it for me, like, yeah, I would not have gotten Giant Skull. I would have maybe, you know, gotten something else really. Right? I would have tried to look for the knockback effect, probably also glow, and try to find a really cheap pair, like I said, that has like, you know, like skiller, knockback, and all of that, just except the speed. That way it will be like worthless, that people would let it go for cheap. You know, if it had like stats like, you know, strength and dex and all resist, and you know, knockback and all that, but just doesn't have the increased attack speed, oh man, that would be the best pair. But I would get that, and maybe on the helmet, I would get like 3 socket, 30 dex, or 30 faster run walk. And people have said like run walk is more for like PvP, but and I guess for me, like thinking like, you know, when you're playing a tune that has no, you know, enigma or teleport, I think faster run walk is okay. But if I had 30 dex, it would have been more damage. Now, would it have been a significant amount of damage with 30 dex? I guess it could have been, but in the end, I don't think it's a, you know, game changer. So, you know, I'm pretty okay with not having it, but yeah, but overall, I mean, had I known, yeah, I would have itemized differently. So yeah, this one's kind of taking a while, though. How much is my damage? Ooh, my magic here is like at 8k, so
I can't carry anymore.
let me look this up. I'm always looking for this one Poison Nova Necro item. 6 Poison Nova, 2 socket with J-mod stats. And like lower resist. Like 1 lower resist. I'll be happy with 1. Just give me 1 lower resist so that I don't have to dump talent into getting that beat. Oh, that was such a huge difference, you know? But anyways, would I ever see a piece like that? Probably impossible. I mean, my bot, I have settings on my bot like that, so that it would catch something I'm looking for. I mean, it could be like a, you know, rare piece too. But I think rares will only get 1 socket. I really like it. But regardless, you know, I have some, you know, some of these things, you know, I wrote on my macro script. But even then, like, I haven't caught it anything. I haven't caught anything yet in like over 2-3 years of botting recently. So yeah, I don't know. I know it drops because I've seen it, but you know, it's seriously like Diablo 2, right? Some of these drops are just hideously rare, and you know, yeah. So, anyways, let's go on. But as you guys can see, you know, it brings back the old memories, right? You know, kind of, I guess. Well, I guess the difference is I'm not guiding her as much as I should be like the old days because of its nerf. But look at it now, see? 1, 2, you know. There's some knockbacks. It doesn't pierce. That's a shame. I wish it did. You know, Bowazon was really strong, I think, at one point. So, yeah, mainly I just strafe because like, when I strafe, that pierceness applies like 100% fully, right? Ooh, so, like, you know, like guided arrow doesn't pierce right now. So, or you only pierces once, kind of. It looks like. Actually, I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Because yeah, I don't know everything about the game. You know, many people have commented on my other videos. Oh hey man, you fucked up on this. Oh hey, you're wrong on this. It's like, yeah, I'm not perfect. But anyways, yeah, if you guys know, please let me know. I'll humbly take your information and learn. Ooh, wow, that was kind of crazy. Just kind of one of the boss like this. He just kind of died. It wasn't even in my view. And so I guess once the resurrected is released, you know, these resolution question. Yeah, I haven't really checked up on any of the updated information on resurrected. I don't know if there is one, but yeah, like I remember people were saying like how it's gonna affect on PvP. So with wider resolution, like you can see more. So areas that even like, you know, the monsters do not recognize you from. So basically you can see them but they don't see you. So you can start attacking them but they won't start attacking you unless they get attacked. So, you know, I mean I think on PvE definitely it's gonna change how the game experience is. Because I mean if you're like this Amazon and like, you know, you're afraid, let's say, of your mob, you know what, you just shoot all around you and then like start moving in, you know? Start getting a head start on your enemies, kind of. So I don't know, like I think it's gonna definitely change the game. And for PvP, you know, people are arguing like how they can target you before. And you know, although Diablo 2's been out for so long, like PvP community is still huge here. Ooh, War Belt, that's T-God. Let me see if it's perfect. Oh, 179 is okay. But yeah, like I had an old roommate. He was like what? Maybe like 10 years ago now. And I mean, was it? It was more like 6, 7 years ago. And at the time, you know, Diablo 2 had already been out for so long too, like over 10 years. And you know, no one really plays the game anymore. But this roommate I had, and he was like first year, 1990 as well. And you know, like he knew Diablo 2, and like he only PvP. He never PvE. He was like a crazy PvP guy. And I was really surprised. I'm like, wow, like you play this game? Like it's so old. Like how old were you when it came out? And he's like 8. I'm like, what? And you play this game, isn't it? I mean, the graphics is horrible, you know. And he's like, no, I love it. It's like, wow. And he was telling me like how this one drew pelt drop, and it was like the best pelt ever for PvP too. You know, he never PvP, so yeah, the PvP community is still very strong and alive. So it's really mind-boggling to see. Let's not die. I could die though. It'd be embarrassing if I do. I'm gonna party if I have to. Okay, I won't have it. Wow, if he released that fire, I would have been letting it play. But as you guys know, all Bowazons suck on boss fight. It's just, I don't know why. On boss fight, all Bowazons are like, just, you know, just the worst. Probably because of the game mechanics and this and that. I think I read about it, but I don't remember. But anyways, let's go on with it and then bail. So yeah, have you guys ever had this, you know, build before? Have you guys ever played back in the old days like me? Are you guys old enough? I mean, you know, yeah, you gotta be some sort of a 1980 birth year to have played this when you were young enough. I mean, you could be older than that, but if you are, I mean, you know, if you're like 7-year-old now and 50 back then when the game started, yeah, no, such combination is kind of rare. So yeah, usually it's all gonna be young people. Or people like me, born in the 80s, who would have that kind of, you know, like the same like anecdote about playing this build. But yeah, at one point this was the best build. Ooh, all this electricity. Yeah, you know, if I don't have any use for this slot, ooh, actually T-God, ooh, wait a minute. Should I go pick that T-God up now? I might want to now, oh my god, and I might respect this too. Actually, T-God might be something that makes sense. Ooh, you know, if I, well, to be honest, if I really wanted one, and if that one that I dropped disappears, yes, I could buy one for like what, you know, like 1 form gold, or maybe not. You know, I have it. I might as well go get it. You know, guys, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm back. And yeah, I swapped it. I'm just gonna use it actually. It's because of the strength and vitality plus the lightning part, you know? Oh, I should have thought about that. Hey, let's go. Let's continue. Ooh. Also, I use my teleporter, my wizard, to go ahead and just pick it up for me real quick before it disappears. Yeah, so now that I have this on, although my lightning resist is not, ooh, wow, I can see that it's this one. So my lightning resistance is not that high. I mean, you know, it should definitely help out more. Because I don't need the increased attack speed, right? Ooh, so, yeah, found a new solution. Yeah, ooh, all that lightning doesn't scare me as much now. Yeah, right now I'm sitting at 4 res on lightning. But yeah, with the T-God, I mean, without having the high lightning resistance, it really provides a good answer right now. So yeah, let's go this way, that's it. Ooh, yeah. And gives me a little bit more strength, and a little bit, you know, and a lot more vitality. So now after this, I'm definitely gonna respec and see, you know, how I could play around with just a little bit more of strength than I just freed up. Okay, oh, that was it. So yeah, this, you know, for those old schoolers like myself, like what weapons were out there, you know? Like back then, you know, we didn't have YouTube. Like we didn't have, you know, all these crazy websites with all this information already all calculated like today. So for me, I only remember like seeing these kind of Amazons. Like every time I joined like a Hell Cow room, which was like the main thing that everyone ran back then. Like, oh, okay, Windforce. Yeah, another one was a Windforce. Sorry. So yeah, Windforce Amazon and Ballista Amazon. And obviously, you know, back then we didn't have rune words, so only sorcerers can teleport. If you're not a sorceress, you're running around. So usually, so we didn't have gold, right? So you know, usually the setup was like you have your arrow, whatever that may be, and then on your offhand as an Amazon, you always put on a Titan. Always. No questions asked. Why? For faster unlock. You know, because again, like only sorcerers could teleport. I mean, you know, so that moving fast factor was a pretty significant factor. And that's why, you know, for me, like I played my Frenzy Barbarian because everyone played a Whirlwind, but Whirlwind was trash. He wasn't able to kill anything in Hell Cow, like full room. So, you know, I was like, screw that. And I made a dual Schaefer Frenzy Barbarian. Oh, that was fun. Which is why I have a Frenzy Barbarian right now too, and I have 3 of them. I should be careful, I have the amp on me. And these guys actually, you know, they are frenzy types, right? The more they swim, the faster they move and all that. So yeah, like back then, you know, because, you know, only sorcerer could teleport once again, like, when you saw a Frenzy Barbarian, that was unique, because no one really played Frenzy, number one. And number two, when you saw them, they move so fast. They're like just flying everywhere, right? They're like just flash, you know? They're just like flash. They're like just poof, poof. So, yeah, it was very attractive. That's why, you know, I still made my frenzies. So yes, we can teleport today. So it's not as like crazy, you know, faster run walk as we used to use. But nevertheless, you know, like, yeah, think about the old days. Yeah, it's still attractive to me. So, okay, now we're done with all that black soul things they do. Yeah, it doesn't scare me anymore. I do still have to be careful though, because my res is only 4. Ooh, okay, I sat there and took some hits. Ooh, wow. Well, don't die now. Okay, let's not die. Ooh, and my bow just went out there. Temper 10. Ooh, wow. It's all of these guys. Yeah, you know, this is when you should use recoil. Yeah, actually, use recoil. And maybe this is when guided arrow can actually be useful. Or like you just kind of shoot at it and it just finds that target. Let's see. Yeah. But not as, you know, crazily useful as before. And then I think like these black souls, like you can't leech off of these guys, but maybe because they're undead. I know there are a few things you cannot leech off of, right? Like skellies, you know, you don't leech off of them. And I think it's because these guys are undead that you don't leech. They just annoying, you know, because like these black souls, as you guys know, are one of the top 5 like thorns on the side for us players that always kill it. And you know, for me, like, you know, like melee damage leech survival style character, which are pretty much all the melee. Like these burning souls are really annoying because they attack you, and you know, you take a lot of damage from them, but you cannot leech off of them. So like, you know, I have happened where like I would just go in, I would just jump in and try to kill them all, and I take all the damage, and I'm thinking I'm leeching, but no, I don't leech and I just die. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, oh, you don't leech off these guys, you know? I should look it up. I just don't. I don't know. I'm stupid. I just learn from experience. Here's a bolt. And, you know, they say there are like 3 different ways we learn. There's like a kinesthetic learner, visual learner, and auditory learner. So the way you figure out who you are is very easy. Like, let's say like you have like a box of like those, you know, adult habit kind of thing. It's not habit, but like, so those toys, you know, you put together, it's all these small pieces, like Gundam pieces, you know, those things. So, you know, when you have that kind of thing, like, you know, you have to make it yourself. Like, I mean, this is like adult hobby, that's why I mentioned that. Because this is really delicate, it takes hours and hours, like, you know, painting those small pieces to make one whole Gundam. Like, you know, there are a lot of, you know, fans out there for this. So when you make that, how would you make it? Would you just start putting it together yourself? Would you look at the manual? Or would you go talk to someone? So this determines what kind of learner you want. I mean, we all have the three. We all have the three, but it's just like which one's the strongest. So if you said, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna try first, then you're kinesthetic, because you know kinesthetic is for kinetic, right? And then you know if you're like an auditory learner, then you're gonna go talk to someone and let them tell you so you can hear and you learn. And lastly, obviously, the visual learner would be someone who would like look at the manual because they learn visually. So anyways, I hope they all. Ooh. Again, you know, it's the biggest annoyance for Bowazon to deal with the bosses. So let me see how it goes here. Yeah, I'm just gonna die there mostly again. So we have a, you know, summon Bale here as well. Yeah. Oh, Bale too. I don't think. Oh, you didn't leave, but Bale's like chance to hit is so low. It's kind of hard to use. So look at my mercenary people. My Bowazon might die again. Yeah, she did. Oh, and I have no mana. See. This is like the worst thing when it comes to Bowazon, you know. Bale, this is Bale thing, you know. I'm gonna have to put it down. Such a shame, but it's the fact. I don't know if there's a build that actually can kill bosses really fast with Amazon. Oh, not Amazon, Bowazon. Because Javelin, oh my god, right? Javelin, like, Titan's Revenge, dude, like, you kill that Bale like nothing. You know, you just like, boom, it's done. I know, like with me, like the charge strike, one charge strike and it's over. Oh my god, this is taking eternity. I'm gonna go around. I think this is the real one too. Come on. Is it because like the crushing blow and like deadly strike mechanics or stuff like that? Like it's reduced chance for me to apply or something? Is that why? Something to ooh, if that was the real one. See at the end, like each hit, like it went down real, you know, it went down a lot. And I think the crushing blow effects came into play. I only have 10% off of here. I don't have crushing blow anywhere else. But I know on Amazon those stats are nerfed too, so I don't know if that's not, you know, makes it Amazon difficult to kill these boss guys. But anyways, that was my run. That was my build. So hopefully, this was a, you know, retro kind of like nostalgia build for you guys. And yeah, you know, if you guys have a different variation of this ballista build, let me know, because there is no like guideline that I was able to find for this. So it's kind of really open to interpretation. And obviously, yeah, if you're gonna plagiarize like me, please do your homework. And please make sure you give your credit where it's due. Although, well, then that's not plagiarizing, huh? But anyways, yeah, if you're gonna copy someone, please make sure you give the credit. And yeah, make sure you do your homework. Don't be like me, you know, like just copy and be all wrong about it. So anyways, yeah, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Thank you very much and have a good one.